Hey girl, welcome back to the podcast. Today we are embracing the suck of recovery. Yes, I said it. When you are faced with finally realizing that your eating and the way of doing things is just no longer the way for you, you will enter into a state of truly wanting help and to get better. This state of recovery is not easy by any means, but it is so worth it. Today, I'm going to talk about embracing the suck of recovery and the best way to get you out of your rut so that you can break the chains of disordered eating. Let's go. Hey girl, welcome to the Her Best Self podcast. I'm Lindsay Nickel, former competitive figure skater and perfectionist, turned God-led imperfect boy mom and digital CEO. If you find yourself constantly thinking about food and wondering if you'll wake up one day free from the obsessive thoughts and behaviors controlling your life, then I've created this podcast for you because I know exactly what it's like to be a downright hot mess trapped in a destructive cycle of disordered eating. I finally found freedom, and you can too, girlfriend. So if you're ready to heal your relationship with food and body and break the chains of control and show up in your best health, then grab your favorite Tarjay journal and let's get to it so you can start living your best life as your best self. Hey girl, so I was actually sitting downstairs today and listening to a sermon and just sitting there on my heart thinking, oh my gosh, I have not really talked about much of my recovery journey. The point of starting this podcast, the origination of Lindsay Nickel Coaching and Her Best Self Co. was all developed truly because I wanted to help women like you find peace with food and transform your life, because I was given that second chance and that opportunity. And as I was sitting there and I'm listening to this sermon, it really spoke to me. And you guys, I will talk about my faith regularly. I am not shy about it. And this sermon was by Steve Furtick. He is Elevation Church, and you can go out and check it out. I'll put it in the show notes below. But he talks about bent knees and breaking chains. And I immediately thought about when I was in my eating disorder and at the worst, I just constantly felt stuck and chained. And so many of my clients say those exact same words to me. I feel so stuck. I just wish I could break the chains. Recovery is a war. And sometimes you're going to win and sometimes you're going to lose. But it is a war. And there's going to be battles that you lose, but you can still win the war. And I'm proof of that. And so today I just wanted to talk about what really is the truth about getting better and wanting a different way and not being chained and controlled by food any longer, and the way that I just always never felt good enough in my body and in my skin and just constantly felt trapped. And all the time people will say, I've recovered and I've gotten to the other side. And for me, and something that I work with my clients, is that recovery is a journey. It's not a destination. What I felt in my heart to share with you guys today after listening to that sermon is that the truth is it's going to get harder before it gets easier. If you could have done this on your own strength, maybe you would have already. And I'm not here to cause a wave or to, start something up, but I am here to go against the grain and go against what, society wants us to sit with. And that is that those negative thoughts in your mind that you're just not good enough and you're just not worthy enough. And I'm going to, listen to diet culture, and I'm going to get stuck into this never ending place of not even knowing my own truth because I'm defined by what everyone else says about me or what the world says about me. And the truth is, and something that I don't talk about enough, is that yes, this podcast is called Her Best Self. But reality is, the only reason I'm my best self today is because I didn't do it in my own strength. The only reason why I am my best self today and that I was able to break the chains is because I came to a place, and I call it like a transformational point or a breaking point. And it was no pivotal moment in my journey, but I physically got on my knees and I was like, God, I know you've always been in my life and I've turned from you for so many years. And if you're there and you care, I don't know what else to do anymore. I'm paralyzed. I'm broken. I have chains around me. I'm constantly afraid. And the doctors are saying I'm dying internally. And I know I don't want that, but I don't know how to fix this. That was kind of a transformational point in my journey. And that's why I talk so much about from pain to purpose, and something that you will even hear in this sermon. And it really is that I'm a messenger. Like, my story, you guys, is a messenger. And it's not to scare you or give you this false sense of I'm on the other side and life is great and it wasn't that hard. You can do it too, girl. Like, that isn't why I'm here. I'm here to hold your hand in the process. I'm here to share where I have been and to who I am now with someone that was where I was right now that needs this. And if that's you, I want you to know that your future isn't defined by your past. It's not defined by your past. You don't have to sit there, but it is influenced by your decisions that you're making today. Girlfriend, what decisions are you making? Are you basing everything today because you're so stuck on not being able to heal your journey by yourself? That was me. I fought for years of trying to do it in my own strength, until one day I said, you know what? I do believe in God, but I've turned away from God. And I allowed this voice in my mind for so long to be my truth and my identity. And at that point in time, I just bent my knees. I got down on my knees and I said, if you're there and you care, I can no longer do this in my own strength, because I would have already. Maybe you need to do that too, friend. Recovery is a journey. It's not a destination. And the truth is, it's going to get harder before it gets easier. It's all about choice. Okay? And choosing to challenge the rules that you've been living by that have gotten you down this path that is no longer serving you. And I want to say that very, very boldly. It is no longer serving you. I say that because when I look back now on my experience with disordered eating, which led to an extreme eating disorder, I don't hate that time in my life. I don't look back and like necessarily pity that person I was. And I don't look back and try to push that away or cover it up. I go there and I say, that point in time, my disorder was keeping me safe. It was my coping mechanism. I needed that at that time. And it came out, in those unhealthy behaviors. But it served me because I was trying to control something that was controlling me and ultimately defining me. But there were things about it that helped me realize my truth and my strength and my worth and all of these things. And so today I really wanted to share with you guys that the suck of recovery is real, and it does get harder before it gets easier. But it is a choice, and it is a daily choice. Your past and current behaviors that have gotten you to this place, they don't have to have control over you anymore. You can't solve a problem with the same mind that created the problem. So what do? We have to look inside our mind. We have to look inside our heart, and we have to say, this has served me. At one point, this has served me. This has been my coping mechanism when I was dealing with other traumas in my life, when I didn't know any better, when I thought I was going to healthily lose some weight, when I decided to go on keto because I wanted to get 10 pounds gone. I didn't know any better. I know that this is what everyone around me was telling me to do. I know that I wanted to be skinny because I always felt like skinny people were appreciated more, or I always felt like I just wasn't in the body I was supposed to be in. And all of these things are valid feelings. And all of these things, I just want you to appreciate for what they are. They managed you at a time and they served you at a point in time where you didn't know any better. But now you do. Now you do. And recovery, it doesn't have shortcuts. There's no easy way. There's no magic pill. Acknowledging that it sucks at times is what you're going to need to get through it. That transformation point, that breaking the chains point, that moment in time, I look back and I say, I had to make a choice. And it was like every single day and every single action, but I had to make a choice. The pain of staying the same was killing me. It was life or death. And so for me, I was staying chained and trapped, and I knew there was not going to be a future for me if I didn't get a grip over my life, if I didn't stop. I had to change. I had no choice, but at the same time, it was only my choice to make. And at the very beginning, I got super resentful because I didn't want family and friends helping me. I didn't want professionals helping me. And there were moments in time where that fear of, gaining weight, and then the fear of not gaining enough weight, and then the fear of gaining weight, and what if I don't like my new self, and what if I go back to this, and what if I don't do recovery perfectly, and just actual physical discomfort of bloating and refeeding and night sweats and gas and terror of just all of these things. There were multiple moments where I could easily go right back to that mental state. And there were moments in time where I did. But like I had mentioned, recovery is a war, and sometimes you are going to lose small battles, but you can still win the war by making a choice consistently. There were multiple moments of shame leading me right back to that stronghold. And I would wake up the next day and I would go, why am I doing this to myself again? And there were days I would still continue to do it. And then there were days where I had better tools in my toolbox. I had resources. I so desperately wanted freedom, but I also wanted the process to be just as perfect and controlled as my disorder was. I totally controlled the process. And if it didn't go like I wanted it to go, I felt like a failure, which put me right back into that spiral. Again, this is not to scare you, but just to get real with you and to share literally that for me, a ton of this was fear-based thoughts, but I would push anyways. And for times where I didn't trust myself, I knew I could learn to trust myself, even if I didn't today. And then really sitting and going, what are some wins? Well, I'm going to tell you, friend, the first big win is you listening to this podcast, seeking help and knowing that what you're dealing with, it's not good for you. It's not healthy. It's a problem, and you can't solve it on your own. And in order to get to your best self, whatever that looks like for you, it's going to require choice and change. And that can be super, super scary. And believe me, I don't say that lightly. But one day I was praying on the floor. God save me. Like I don't know what else to do anymore. And there wasn't this magic voice that came out of a cloud or any of those things, but little by little he did. I started having small daily wins. I started adding a snack. I started going out with friends. I started being okay with embracing that I might not know where my future was going, but I knew who had my future. I didn't want that responsibility anymore. because what I was trying to control was controlling me and it was killing me. It's hard. It's hard to eat something new. It's hard to eat when you're not used to eating. It's hard to stop purging if you've been purging. It's hard to stop overeating or binging when that's what you've been used to. It's hard to break the chains. Believe me, I get it. It's hard to stop tracking calories. It's hard to get out of that pattern of over exercising. It's hard. But when you can replace a bad coping mechanism with praying, with journaling, with yoga, with reading, with support, the pain of staying chained and trapped is so much more than the fear of what the future is going to look like, because it's no longer where you're putting your energy. You're no longer staying chained to the pain that you're in. You're consciously trying every single day to make a choice for your future healthier self. And that's exactly what I did. And it took a really long time. And that was okay because I was in it for the long game. I said, I know I've been doing this for a really long time. I know it wasn't going to be easy, and it isn't. And I'm just here today to share with you guys that it's okay for it to suck. It's okay for it not to be perfect. It's okay to wake up one day and feel all of those negative feelings that your voice in your mind is telling you. And it's okay to start again tomorrow. I want to read something out of my journal from 2007. Today, I'm having a great day. I want to be normal again. I have a plan to focus on, and instead of thinking about calories and food, I'm going to be thinking about feeding and nourishing and satisfying my body. This stops now. I know this process is going to take time. I know I have to recondition my mind, but I don't want to struggle anymore. I want to live. I want to take charge of my own life and my own happiness, and no one is going to do that for me. And I know that I still don't want to gain any weight, and I know that I want to stay in this place where I feel protected, but I know that in order to be happy, and in order to have a future, I have to stop. I have to let go. I have to stop obsessing, and I have to stop allowing this to consume me. Today, I'm starting because I know I'm only going to be as happy as my heart inside allows me to be. Today, I'm going to focus on one thing. I'm going to try to eat normally, and I'm going to try to love my soul. You guys, this is really hard for me to read sometimes, to go back into this place. Because even though that's awesome, what I didn't share is the day right before that, where I'm beating myself up and depressed and struggling and saying, sometimes I wish calories didn't matter, and that people didn't know how many calories were in food, and that I could eat whatever I wanted, and that I could forget this existed in my life. That's not what I shared with you. I shared with you the good, the choice. But there's going to be moments and days that absolutely suck. And there's going to be moments and days that are good. There's no shortcuts. There's no easy way. But the biggest encouragement that I can give to you today is to do it anyways. Do it anyways. Even if you might not feel like it now, do it for the future self that you want. Because the pain of staying chained and trapped is going to engulf you in keeping you staying chained and trapped, and only you have the power to change. I'm just a messenger in telling you that recovery is not a final destination. It's a journey. And the truth is, it might get harder before it gets easier, but it's worth it. And so are you. So to apply this for you today, I want you to think of what the pain of controlling food, your body, like all of these thoughts has done for you. And I want you to think of the pain of leaving it behind and stepping into a new version of yourself. What does that look like? Because, friend, if we can't envision our life with anything but our current state, then we can't allow our current state to be let go, because our fear will cripple us. And if that's you today, I just want to encourage you. And maybe this will leave you with some truth and some love. Just remember that tomorrow is not promised, but every single day, as cliche as it sounds, is a gift. And it's a new opportunity for us to make a choice. And you don't have to live with this anymore. You can make a choice today, and then you can make a choice tomorrow, and then you can make a choice in 5 years from now. I'm going to share with you 3 scriptures that I clung to. They allowed me, again, to break chains when I was stuck in my own rut with myself. I knew it had to be greater than me for me to get help that I needed. And so I really clung to these 3 scriptures. Come to me, all who are labor and are heavy burdened, and I will give you rest. Friend, are you weary, like heavy burdened? It's okay to rest. You can learn to trust yourself again. With men, it's impossible, but with God, all things are possible. This one got me at that transformational point and that breaking the chains place where I knew I couldn't do it by myself anymore because nothing was working. I knew I needed help. And then finally, my favorite, but they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall not run and be weary. They shall walk and not be faint. In other words, your strength can be renewed. You can mount up like wings, like eagles' wings. And that promise, friend, is not just a promise for me. It's a promise for you too. And I envision like an eagle flying over top of my old self and just looking down and going, this is freedom. My arms are out and I'm just above and I am glistening in the sun and I'm free of the chains. And yes, the suck of recovery is true. And yes, there's going to be times where you feel physically bloated. And yes, there's going to be days where you want to go back to those old things. And there's going to be days that you might. But tomorrow is new. And you can define your future today by making a choice. By making a choice that you're no longer going to stay stuck in this place. What does your future self need today? What would the future self that you have in your mind even look like? Who is she? Take a moment, friend, and think, is the pain of staying chained and trapped outweigh the fear of a choice to move forward? You can acknowledge it's going to suck, and you can know that there's no easy way, but you can make the choice to do it anyway. I got your back, girl. Until next time. Oh, friend, thank you so much for letting me share what was on my heart today. My hope for this podcast is to help more women find freedom from food and body. If this has empowered or blessed you, let me know. I'd be honored for your rating and review of my show, and I'd love to connect with you in my private Facebook community. You really can move from perfection to purpose. Let's break the chains together. I'll help navigate the way. Until next time, bye for now, girl.